international fund or through the Ministry of Gender, as far as you are concerned, in the process to help it, because this seems to be a very serious problem. And I guess you, besides being the vice president, you are a mother. It seems to me when you leave your office, these things you kind of confront them. Citizens, people come to you to tell you about their story, and that's mind-boggling.
And it is, because when you hear about how many young children, a few months ago I found out that the international community in the Ellen-led government bought a DNA machine, and if you go to court, you must provide proof beyond reasonable doubt in criminal cases. And if you don't have a DNA machine that says, for example, A is the one who raped B, most times the cases are thrown out of court. So I found out that there was a DNA machine sitting somewhere at JFK is not being used. All of the reagents that they bought, they said they don't have anybody who can interpret the films. But I mean, to show you how critical this issue is. So even those who get raped, that are strong enough to say, let me go to the court and report it, in the end, you can imagine how someone feels when the judge says, where's the proof? Okay, you said this man raped you, where's the proof? And once you don't have that proof, which is the tying thing into the whole case, it's thrown out. So it's becoming troublesome. It's becoming an issue that I think all of us need to be involved in. And I'm hoping that more people at the international level will get involved, but that we who are Liberians can also begin to get involved. I had a program last year at the end of the 21 days of activism against sexual and gender-based violence, which is an international day set aside to consider all of these issues. My office took time out to meet with, I think, 250 young boys from different schools. We're hoping that we can call a second meeting, well, just in Montserrat, because I thought we should begin where the source of the problem is.
What happened to those? What happened to
well, you just have to start. I mean, the point is that we're starting to talk to young men who could become perpetrators of rape. We're asking them to take, form these clubs in the schools and in the communities for safe places for girls. So if someone feels threatened, they can run, they can call, and then they can now follow up. So we're making them guardians of the girls, and that's what I grew up hearing my father say to my elder brother. If you're taking Joa out, you're responsible for her. We grew up with those guardians around us. Even if you're going to the community, they will say, well, follow your small sister, make sure nothing happens to her. That isn't happening now. We want to start that whole process so men realize that they are actually protectors of women, so they don't be in an environment where that is happening, because we have to go to that level.
This seems to be a very difficult task, and how are you coping with this sort of complex situation?
I have a philosophy, and it's simple: helping people one person at a time. Because if you look at the complexity of the issue and the number of persons that are being affected, someone could easily say, I'm not going to do it because it's, I won't make any impact. But you can imagine if you make an impact with one girl who was sexually abused, and she's able to get some counseling to know that she wasn't responsible, and that the act perpetrated was not hers, and that she can go on and become what she wants to be. But we also need to make sure that those who are perpetrators are named and shamed in the communities, because if they say you are rapist, you do it a couple of times, we will know that that's what you're doing. We need to name and shame and go to their offices with placards so that people stop. But someone has to do something, and I know I can't do all of it.
With placards, what would be the law role in terms of not just going with placard, but that's a serious crime.
It is, and there should be safe communities. So can we start one community at a time? And I think that's what I'm doing. I'm just beginning where I am because I know someone has to do something. And why is this important? During the Ellen-led government, I always talk about her. As a woman, she made sure that the issues of sexual and gender-based violence were highlighted in her government. And there were safe homes for children. There were a lot of support.
Was enough done, in your view, in terms of hearing other these narratives? Seems to me that I could be wrong, but enough wasn't done to really focus to address some of these social issues that has an impact on the economic growth of this country.
I agree, but she did something. For the first time in our history, people were able to come up and say I was raped, and they could go to the Ministry of Gender, and they could go to the police, and someone, whether it was association of female lawyers, would take the case and they would try and carry it to the courts. Some people were arrested. So for the first time in our history, because all of these new things, I believe the beginning was done, and she put her all into it. to ensure that these cases were at least processed through, the whole round of it was done. There were people trained in many areas. There were safe homes in almost all of the counties where if somebody say I was raped, you are removed immediately from that environment so that the counseling and the restructure, the renewal began. So I think with the pressure on our government to do all of what we need to do, some of those programs that were supported by friends of Madam Elsie Saliba are no longer being done. All of the safe homes have been closed, but the issue hasn't gone away. And she's done what she could as a woman. I think it behooves all of us, those of us who are interested in making sure that girls are empowered. It's not only strong girls, it's also weak girls. How do we make sure that everyone has an opportunity? And I just hope I will do my best where I am and do what can be done, one girl at a time.
One girl at a time. That's quite fascinating. Let's pivot a little bit, making use of this time. I've been working with your office. This staff, which I have recalled a lot of stories, and people in the diaspora do have a concern because quite often the disabled are forgotten. And it's quite interesting that the sitting vice president is taking the initiative to remember every citizen. What is it all about? What do we need to know? What are we not understanding that we need to understand, especially with the diaspora community, and even people that are in this country?
Well, the first thing, let's talk about people living with disabilities. I think since Benny D. Warner's tenure as vice president, the issue of the Group of 77 as an umbrella organization has been under the office of the vice president. So every vice president has had to deal with people living with disability. And so that devolved upon me to help. What we've been doing is we were able to go across the country and register more than 15,000 persons living with disabilities. So we have a roster. We've been asking those companies working in the lottery section to provide support to people living with disabilities. For my office, I provide 100 bags of rice every month so that they are fed. In the last government, it would be giving 3 or 4 cups of rice. Now everybody takes home, the 25 kg bag of rice. So if you go around, you'll notice that the town is a little bit quieter and there's not too much noise because we're trying to provide support. In terms of sustenance, they have about 150 acres of land in Todi. So we started the process because I told them there's no way you can ask the same donors over and over and over. It will become tiring. The economy is not too good. People are not making as much as they hope. So your giving power also reduces. So we started a project in Todi where on that land we'll do animal husbandry, we'll do some rice, and we'll try to plant something, maybe palm or something that they can use to provide money to support the disabled community, because I think they must get independent. During the tenure of William R. Talbot as president, he provided that land for the disabled community, and I think we need to take advantage of it so that they can now start to fend for themselves. So as vice president, that is one of my key functions, to oversee this process. We visited them. A few months ago, I met Mother Esther Ajayi. She's a Nigerian pastor, but she's also a philanthropist, who just saw me on the internet talking about these same things and decided to come to Monrovia. So she visited with us, and about a month ago, she provided funding for buses for 3 of the disabled communities because they complain even if they want to go somewhere, they can't. There's a Antoinette Tubman Cheshire home that has really, really disabled young children. They can't see, they can't talk, they can't walk, they can't do anything. So they provided buses for all of them. They provided about $20,000 each to help with some of the problems that they were having. So I've gone out of my way to make sure that wherever I go, I talk about the disabled community so that I can get additional help to help them strengthen themselves and to stand on their own feet. So that's what we've done in that sphere. We've met with them, we've tried to counsel them, we've tried to make them understand that, hey, disability is not inability. Somebody can do something. If you have 2 hands, you can work. If you have a problem with your leg, you can work. If you're in a wheelchair, you can work. Disabled people around the world are working. It's only in Africa we think that disabled people are unable. So my message to them is disability is not inability. But as it relates to the Starfish Foundation, I've been working for more than 20 years providing education to girls. And I had just a few of the counties working in, because I was senator at the time. My concentration was in Bone and Monserrato. but there were still places where I would visit, and because I saw girls in need, I would add it here and add it there. But as vice president, my responsibility now covers the 15 counties. So to date, we have managed to.
Well, that's twins or triple mother.
I know,
Just
we've
before
managed
we wrap
about
it up,
1,500 students already who are in school. Tuitions are paid for a full year. We'll begin in a month or so going and visit the different counties to see how they're faring.
Okay, before we wrap it up quickly, I don't want to do injustice to my wider audience in the US because this program has claimed the attention to a lot of women that I speak to, and I know the importance of people with disability. What can you tell the diaspora Liberians, women, some of the supporters that are there, what can they do to be part of the process, not just to be the spectators, but to be part of the nation building process? What message can you?
And I want to make an appeal to Liberians in the diaspora that a nation is not built by one person, nor is a nation built predominantly by government. It is all sectors working together to make our country work. Those who have lived in the diaspora for many years may have access to things that we could use, whether it's a white king, whether it's a Braille Bible. They have new computers that the blind are using that they just speak to it and it types up all of their letters. There are a lot of things that they could probably help us with. My office is open. We've been working with some of the people from the diaspora who have organizations here who are providing support. I would like to work with them in providing some help, whatever it can be, whether it's just blankets, or whether it's toys for children of parents who are disabled, who during the holiday season will be unable to reach out to them. My office is open. I'm prepared to work with those in the diaspora to get some help here, because I'm just imagining a number. Let's say there are 200,000 Liberians in the States. If everybody gives $1 for 1 month, we can do a $200,000 project every year. I've worked to remain credible. I've worked to remain someone who would do the right things in terms of the projects I've done. I've worked to ensure that funding given to my office or given to me is used properly. So I'm accountable, I'm transparent in my work. And so if they could form an organization, for example, have people pay $1 a month and then send that money, and every month we could do a project in one of the counties, because they too have a stake. This is their home. Their parents or grandparents or siblings live here, and we want Liberia to grow. It can only grow if all of the segments work. And so I would like to make a personal appeal. If there is a person or a group of persons who would like to join me in the work that I'm doing, I would really appreciate to work with them, and we can help build our country and get off the negativity that you usually find surrounding Liberia. We need to build it ourselves.
Well, for that does it, I'm Alfonso Z. and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV here in the conference room of Her Excellency Chief Dr. Joel Howard Taylor, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. There you have it. We want to make sure that when we come here to also hear from our leader. And Vice President, I want to thank you so much. Despite of this, promptly want to squeeze out time for us, and we can assure you we are also in the business of news building our country. That's why we are very grateful for making time for. Thank you so much.